Howdy guys, and welcome to Broke Left Stick Games, top 10 video games that were below expectations. These are the ones throughout the year that just didn't live up to the hype built around them, or B, were the same, or C, were really off. So let's get to it. Number 1, Madden 18. It's Madden. They added a campaign this time, with it being long shot. It's a relatively cool idea, and I love it to see it be more fleshed out, a lot more worthwhile. Once you finish it, it's kind of like a one and done. You get some bonuses for your ultimate team, but besides that, it is pretty much just Madden with a little bit of a story campaign. I wish they would have did more, and I see this game being around like a $40 game or a $30 game. This really should no longer be in the $60 criteria. You're really just putting a new wrapper on. Luckily this year they did add that long shot, but still it just doesn't sit its value. Except for trophy hunters, if you want a free, easy platinum, that's pretty much the easiest one you're going to get Madden-wise. It's ridiculous compared to the other seasons where you had to get your ultimate team to like 85. That's the redeeming factor of Madden 18, unless you're a huge football fan, which I am, keep in mind. But I just want to see them do something different. Come on, let's get NFL 2K back. Number 2 is Yooka-Laylee. Most of the team that were part of Rare, that made some of Banjo-Kazooie, they brought this game back, pushed it on a Kickstarter, and said that this was going to be the second coming of Banjo, pretty much. And they did nail a lot of stuff. There's certain sections that really hold it back. First off, its price when it first came out, which was pretty high. I think this game's more around like a $10, $20 one. The other problem was the audio. The music was kind of cool, but when you talk to NPCs, the voice murmuring, like, it was cool for like the first 10 seconds, and then I had to turn the audio down. There was some big problems with the camera. When you would get high up, it would jump and jag all over the place, and sometimes I had to quit because it was so infuriating sometimes. I would say if you wanted to get this game, 10 to 20 bucks, maybe look for a sale. It is cool that they're at least trying in this genre, which is a dying breed. And I wish they would do more with it. There's a better game called Ratchet and Clank for the PlayStation 4 that was an absolute home run. It was a beautiful game, and kicks the crap out of this, even though this is trying to re-embody Banjo-Kazooie. Number 3. Battlefront 2. The placeholder is obviously, as you can see, Star Wars Battlefront. I bought this game digitally, and this was hyped to be the second coming, to be the campaign driven, to be the end-all fix for, there's not enough. I platinumed Battlefront. So if you want somebody who knows a little thing about Battlefront, I know a little thing, and I know what was wrong, what was good, what was bad. And what was really disgusting about this game, there was a lot of negative backlash from the loot boxes. And I want to state that they did shut the loot boxes off before I got my edition Friday. But I got it, and I played. And just from the loot boxes from Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before they shut it off, I had people killing me with epics. I had people killing me with the best star cards out there. And it's horribly... I had a guy come with a pistol across the map. That's insane. And that just shows you that this travesty that is loot boxes that are destroying games and not done properly. Look at Nintendo's loot boxes. They're called amiibos. And you at least get a toy, and there's a timer on your gear that you get. That's pretty cool. Why can't we get replenishable loot boxes that we buy once and we're given every couple of days? What's up with that idea? Come on, guys, get it together. Follow Nintendo's pattern. It's nicely done. You get a little physical item, and it doesn't hurt you. And plus, you can manage the clock on your Switch and get better gear every day. And one day, 20 pieces of gear. Pretty awesome. So Battlefront in general, Battlefront 2, it did not live up to, obviously, its hype. I'm still playing it because I try to platinum every game I play. But I would say it's mostly online. It does have modes offline for the first time. The other one had it It just was, you could co-op, do some co-op missions, you could just co-op survival. But the meat and potatoes, I remember the original Battlefront games, I mean, there was a ton of stuff you could do with your friends. And it was really, really good. And I missed those games. They were before loot boxes, they were before this whole, you randomly can get stuff. And I don't want to sit on the loot boxes too much, because honestly, it's your money. It just sucks when you buy a brand new game that you paid $60 for, and someone who paid $400 for can completely annihilate you. It's like the guy wearing the best gear, and you go to fight him, and you go to play football with him or something, and he just runs you over because he's wearing titanium shoulder pads. It's a little ridiculous. This game, I would say, sits around the $20 range if you can get it better. And trust me, the expansion pass for the Battlefront 1 were free way later on. So if you just wait, everything should get pretty cheap. I'm not saying, I know the add-on stuff for Battlefront 2 is going to be mostly free, but they were mostly free at the end anyway. So just be patient. I don't think you need to really rush into this one. Hopefully they can fix it. They said they're going to try to fix it, and I'm hoping that they will. I'm not going to sit on this one too long because I just don't want to. Agents of Mayhem, number 4. I'm a huge Saints Row fan and was hyped up for this game. They said it's going to be kind of Saints Row-esque universe. It definitely feels Saints Row, running around, so forth like that. It was a buggy mess to play through. I put in, just to get the platinum, 160 hours. And because of connected contracts that are totally broken when the game came out, there were the main campaign missions were broke. The jump mechanics were broke. I actually tweeted at them, and I will give them credit on this. They tweeted back at me and said they are patching a lot of that, and they did. And I platinumed the game recently because they did patch that. So kudos to them. A little too late. It needed to be a blockbuster success out the door. I would sit this game around $25 to $30. It is not as bare bones as like Ukulele or something like that. This is a pretty expensive game. The collectibles are completely worthless because by the time you start doing the collectibles, characters are already level 20. They're already powerhouses. You have enough cores to do your main missions on a pretty high levels. I collected the rest of the little crystals around the city and really didn't even use them. I just finished them to get the platinum. So I would say if you can get this game on sale, okay, but it really didn't live up to the hype. I was hoping for a Saints Row future, and it feels like it's still, 3 is their best game. Saints Row 3 is still their way superior game, and I wish they get back up to that level. Saints Row 3 was good on story, it was good on mobility, it didn't sit too long on stupid things, and they're having trouble with that. So hopefully they get back on track. For Saints Row 6, fingers crossed for you. Let's do an open world. Let's get the GTA 5 online kind of world thing going. I would love that in Saints Row, you know, driving down the roads, throwing bombs off the back of a ATV would be really cool. They need to move forward, and that's what we're going to do now. Number 5, Prey. Okay, I know I'm going to get, like, stomped on. I've already been stomped on for my review of this. It just didn't sit with me. I'm a huge Dishonored fan. I'm a huge Arcane Studios fan. I love their art style. I love that, and that was not the problem with this game. The problem with this game was pacing. It took way too long to kick in, and it didn't flow as well as other Arcane games work. It didn't have the flow of even Dishonored 2, which Dishonored 1 is just a very special game. Dishonored 2 is still a special game. But obviously both of those did not do as well as, Dishonored 2 did not do as well as it wanted to. There was just a lot of stuff about this game that it was pushed, like, you know, when Bethesda did their press conference, this was pushed to be a pretty awesome game, and it's coming from the co-creator of the Dishonored series. So, I mean, the co-director. So you expect kind of a high level, and the graphics are pretty high level. It just felt clumsy, and Dishonored feels clumsy, but in a sleuthy way. This felt clumsy in a clumsy way, and I just think that they could have done a little bit better, and I think it was definitely, it came out fast from its brewing period, to say, and I think it could have sat a little longer and got a little bit better. But I still would sit this game at 25, 30 bucks. I just don't think this is worth its $60 tag. And I don't think it was definitely not worth it when it first came out. And I heard you can beat the game in like 8 minutes because it was so glitched that you could glitch the wall and climb the top of the one building. I'm not going to obviously get into the details because I don't want to ruin the story, but you could get the whole way to the end of the game. Somebody did like 8 or 20 minutes, somewhere around there. And that's ridiculous. And we got to get past games coming out in alpha form, guys. And I know how hard it is to make games. I have relatives that make games, and I'm not crapping on you. I'm just saying these companies pushing it to go faster and faster. Usually games don't... usually games get pushed out fast by developers, and Bethesda's not one of those that typically do that. It just feels like this one came out a little clumsily, and the game plays clumsily. The sound's kind of cool, though, so I kind of dig the sound. That was okay. Art design was okay. It just, the mechanics and the gameplay are what pushes people to play games. Hey guys, put in Zelda Breath of the Wild. Put in Metal Gear Solid 5. That gameplay mechanics are ridiculous. And they can pull that game past the destroying weapons, which infuriates me with Zelda. And not a too far Japanese storyline at the end of Metal Gear Solid 5. Going for the S ranks is ridiculous in that game. But I still did it because the gameplay loop's awesome. That's what this game was not. Its gameplay loop was not awesome. And its crafting was a little rough. And it could have used a little bit better. A little bit more polish. Number 6. Another one I might get heat over in certain aspects. Those who like this game. Mass Effect Andromeda. This game looks and plays like a company that didn't make Mass Effect. And that's shocking, coming from BioWare, which did make Mass Effect. And that's what kind of confuses me about this game. You do ridiculous little quests to somehow terraform a planet. Tiff and I mutually, I think we put in around 70 hours into this game to try to get a hold of something. It's just everything's so spread out. You don't feel much cohesiveness. The way the planets get terraformed is sometimes you're doing ridiculous little side quests, and that goes to a percentage. It doesn't make sense. The animations, I got a lot of crap for it. You know what? I didn't really care. That's something I didn't care for. Didn't care about. And I did like the driving on the planets. I thought that was kind of cool. The little moon buggy. But this game just, it feels like you need the 7 strategy guides to play this game to completely and cohesively understand it. It is a mess. And even though it has some here and there good voice acting, it's just, it feels like they didn't really care too much about it. And I kind of think that's kind of prevalent with most of their company working on Anthem instead. I think they're done with the series. I hope there's more. I know there's more Dragon Age, so if they can do more Dragon Age, which for some reason keeps coming out, and I don't think they sell that well. So if they keep making those, I'm pretty sure they can keep making Mass Effect, and I hope they do something a little bit different the next time. Otherwise, it was just a game where you just had to pick spots in the map. It didn't have any impactful feeling. Even the relationship building. I remember there was times where Tiff would just be talking to the one character on the team, and she would just literally say the same line over and over again, even though she went through like 10 hours worth of continuous playing, and it was ridiculous. So that's my statement on this. This game is a $20 game. Though it is huge and expansive and it is an RPG, I just don't feel like it's like a bad book, but a good bad book. Because if you read it, you don't want to think you wasted your time, but if you read it, you probably weren't loving it the whole way through. So that's where I sit with Mass Effect. I know I'm going to probably get heat on Prey, Mass Effect, and probably this next one. Number 7, Middleearth Shadow of War. I played Moldor. I liked Moldor, Shadow of Mordor. Where they got this one wrong was they took the best parts and then they force-fed them to us. The getting orcs, having orcs be your companions, doing this, doing that. Dominating got so ridiculous after, I think it said on my review, after the 500th head pop. It was the best parts, but when you do all that and you don't do anything else, like the campaign is really jumbled, the story's kind of jumbled, you're giving all and you're losing everything, and it's a little ridiculous. And this is another one I think that Warner Bros. Kind of really pushed. There's some quality control issues with this game. There's parts of it looks pretty nice, and then there's parts that look like were in Mordor, like a way older game before the 4K patch, before PlayStation Pro. And I don't know where quality assurance was with this. You know, usually Warner Brothers, they push their games, but you know, like Rocksteady, for example, they let them take time with the Batman series, and that one's a great game. Batman Arkham Knight's a great game, which I suggest you get way over this, or go get Mordor, which I think is a better game. Shadow of Mordor. This one, I'd sit in the $20. As you can see, I got the gold edition. I put every penny into this sucker to find out that it is not what it was hyped up to be. I do not think it's better than Shadow of Mordor. I think it is another Shadow of Mordor. And I don't know if that's a good thing when it's supposed to be the sequel. So take it where you want. And I know that I'm going to probably get some flack on this one. So everybody's entitled to it. I'm cool with it. That was number 7. Number 8, my biggest disappointment of the year. And saddest disappointment of the year. Gran Turismo. I have Platinum Gran Turismo 6. I love the Gran Turismo series. I've played in tournaments in 3 and a long time ago when I was a lad. And now that this one came out, I was so hoping for a GT mode. Nothing. They're putting one in slowly, but you have to go online to save. This is an always online game now. You can't save unless you're online. So those people that can't get internet access, you can't save. Too bad for you. You can do your time trial races, your drift races, but Sony has kicked the gear up with the always online, and they were the company that also said you can trade your games to your friends. You don't require always online. Guess what, guys? This is their first one of many. So hopefully they get things turned around. Obviously, Andrew House moved away from their company, and they're having the guy who works on the back end of the network run the company. So I'm very scared for the future there. I don't know where it's going to lead, and I hope the guy's maybe better than the network, PlayStation Network, because we all know the PlayStation Network is clunky. Though the interface is okay, it's just clunky slow. The things we're missing from this game, obviously, were over 1,200 cars, were the short track lists, whereas the GT mode was missing. Were other things that rubbed me raw was sportsmanship rating online, where somebody would hit me purposely every 10 seconds into a wall because they knew how the system worked, and if they took a penalty and hit me into a penalty, I would get 2 penalties. They said they're working on that, but it just didn't. It's not worth this price tag. I would set this game around $25, $30. Obviously, with Black Friday already passed and Christmas season, this game should drop. And it's one of those games. I've seen mostly all the PlayStation 4 games, classics, are dropping down sub 30s into the 20s. I've seen a lot. Bloodborne you can get for like $15 with your Gamers Club unlocked with Best Buy, and that's a ridiculously good game for a ridiculously good price. So this game I definitely wait on. My biggest disappointment of the year. It's so sad because I wanted to love this game. The driving is still Gran Turismo. If you are just having a racing wheel and you want to throw some time into that racing wheel, go ahead and get it. But if you think you're going to get a Gran Turismo game, they're good. They went with Gran Turismo Sport instead of GT7, because if they went with GT7, Gran Turismo 7, they would have had a big backlash. It's good they changed the name. That's definitely a saving grace for Sony, not a saving grace for the consumer. Hopefully they make it better with the patches, which I heard they are, but it wasn't worth it when it first came out. There I'm with Gran Turismo. And number 10, and I kind of did this as a joke. This is a placeholder. Call of Duty World War II. I know I'm going to get some probably heat over this. Those that watch us, look forward to another video with the top 10 above expectations, because really where we're sitting is expectations. If you keep your expectations low, guys and gals, a game could be magical for you. And there are some gems, and I will talk about that with the above expectation games. And then we'll do our top 5 with the Game Awards coming around the corner. Look forward for that stuff. But I wanted to get this below expectations out because I realized that there's people buying before Christmas, and I think there's better ways to use your money. And better games out there. And I want to tread softly because I know that there's game developers and game designers that work tirelessly. I have family members that literally don't see their family some days because they're working overnight to try to get something done that's minuscule in a game. But it matters because it's part of it. So to those people, I'm still saying people should buy your games, just not for the price that the developer wants them to pay. I'm not the developer, the publisher wants them to pay. So in that, keep that in mind that these will be on sale and they should still be bought. They're still games, and just like books, every book may have a good point in it. It doesn't mean that every point's good. And those are the gems. Those are the games that are above expectations. As always, guys, if you like what you see here, please like, subscribe, follow, share. We here at Broke Left Stick Games appreciate you stopping by, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks.